Hi. Made it to a second video. Yes, that's second with a T. Okay, so this video will have a topic, some type of a structure, hopefully. Hormones. More so how I started on them myself, which is a different story for every person. It's not as easy for some as it is for others. For me, I mean, okay, let me start it this way, I guess. There are different options for people. Some people go with their general physician, and that usually requires seeing at least one therapist and getting, I guess they're called recommendations or something like that, to be on hormones and such. Another option, the one I went through, because I know the initial option can sometimes take a long time, and I didn't want to wait any longer than I already have. So I went with the Planned Parenthood option, which is option number 2. And so I was really nervous when we initially reached out, which was a little bit before April 10th. Can't remember what day it was exactly. But yeah, we scheduled an appointment, and because it was in the midst of everything that was happening, it was a virtual appointment. And the doctor was super amazing, very respectful of name, pronouns, everything like that. She was just absolutely amazing. And yeah, I guess I officially started hormones on April 10th. And that's where the official transition started, I guess. So I took some notes just to stay organized here. According to Google, there are some big results that you can get within, from weeks to months being on hormones, and that can be anything from decreased libido to decreased muscle mass, amongst other things on the list. But yeah, that's not always true for everybody. Every body and everybody is gonna go through changes at a different rate. So this video, I guess, is gonna be more towards the changes I went through and when I went through them, and then my process with Planned Parenthood through all of this and how they have been. So yeah, I started hormones around April 10th, and aside from being happier after starting them, there weren't really any initial noticeable changes until around May, where there were some noticeable emotional changes. I like to watch movies, so I noticed that emotional scenes in movies became a little bit more emotional. And just everything in life kind of hit me a little harder than it did before. My shell became softer, so to speak. I was just essentially a little baby there in the first couple months. And then some physical changes started occurring, I guess, in June. And that was smaller things like my hair. It became a lot shinier. And My skin, I noticed it with my hands at first because I work a lot with my hands. So I noticed my hands were they were getting a lot softer, and then I was being told that my skin, like my face, looked softer, and then it looked like it was glowing more. And then another thing was, I guess I developed quite the sweet tooth. I just attacked anything that I thought would cure it, and it didn't. And then after that, in July, the appetite kind of shifted from sweet to a trend of very much spicy, which I've never really been into in my entire life, which is absolutely crazy because I would devour spicy food, like anything spicy. Like you could pour just hot sauce into ramen, the sriracha, the tapatio, everything. Dump it into the ramen. I'll take it. But before hormones, I would cry like a little baby. So the spicy foods thing, I've distanced from that more so recently. But yeah, that was an interesting little phase there. Another thing that happened in July, I guess, would be my body hair got a lot lighter. I would shave my arm, and then I would notice the hairs would grow back, almost looking blonde. So they would still grow back. A common misconception with hormones is that it stops you from growing either facial hair or body hair. It's not going to happen. Sadly, there's kind of nothing you can do to prevent that. And some people even say it doesn't make it lighter, but for me personally, in my experience, it definitely did. Never had blonde hairs a day in my life, and now my legs are just magically covered in them. And same with my arms. And in some cases, you couldn't even see my body hair unless you looked like really, really closely at it, which is nice. It helps with how you're treated in public, I guess, to an extent. And then after that, in August, the changes became... I don't know how to explain this part. I guess if you are under 18, earmuffs after this part. Or if you're related to me, probably earmuffs after this part too. But in August, I guess is when I noticed the most like growth in the chest region. Which for me, I was kind of skeptical on whether or not I would even really notice it, because for most of my like mid to late teenage to adult life, I've kind of always had growth up here, and so I didn't know if I would even really notice any change. But in August there was a pretty noticeable and very much needed and welcomed change and growth. And yeah, I'm not sure when that starts for everybody. Once again, that's something that differs from person to person, but it's not all good. So the growth itself is obviously good, but if you attempt to run or jog, I have learned that is a very painful thing to do. They are itchy, and they are tender. They are sensitive. Yeah, you hit one of those bad boys on a door, and it's just your day's ruined. But yeah, aside from that, or I guess not aside from that, after that, started noticing more changes in September, which so in the last thing we noticed, there were changes in the front, and in September, I guess we noticed more changes in the back region, I guess. Yeah, don't really have any complaints, or I guess further comments on that one. Just, yeah, definitely changes in September that are welcome. And then my voice in September, I guess I realized, has changed a little. So I tried practicing for YouTube videos a while ago, a few months ago. Was not super happy with the results. I'm not very happy with the results of my voice at the moment, but there's not much I can do about that right now. I like it better than I did a few months ago. So that's definitely a big change that's noticeable from then to now. And then last, I guess, little note on the list of changes that we noticed was this past month of December, the growth back there was a tad bit more noticeable. Sorry if that's TMI, but I know in some cases that's what some ladies are hoping to hear. Those are the results that they're seeking at certain points in their transition, so maybe that gives like a little beam of hope. I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't set any expectations for myself or my body on, like, I wanted this to grow this much, I wanted these to look like this. I didn't know what was gonna happen. Kind of just jumped in with both feet. And I guess I should have mentioned this in the beginning of the video, but my hormones, or my hormone replacement therapy, HRT, I take estradiol for my estrogen, and then give me 1 second here, I do not want to mispronounce this. I take spironolactone to block the testosterone. And there is some talk of that not being very good for your body, the spironolactone. And some people take another medication, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but definitely feel free to investigate all your options, look into what you think is best for you and what you would feel most comfortable with. Definitely don't go with something just because you saw me in a video taking it or somebody else in a video taking a different thing. Don't just go with that because you saw it. But anyways, I guess with spironolactone, I can never pronounce that correctly. I take one 100 milligram tablet twice a day for that. And that one's easy, you just take it like a normal pill. And then the estradiol 2 milligram tablet I take twice a day. That one's a little bit more irritating. You have to let it like dissolve under your tongue, which can sometimes happen really quickly and sometimes happen in 25 to 30 minutes. I guess it just depends on what it decides to do that day. I don't know. Anywho, yeah, still not really sure what I'm gonna do in the whole intro, outro department, so still winging it here. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and once again, if anybody has any like comments or anything about how the video's filmed or how I do something, please feel free to mention it in the comments or message it to me, anything like that. Anywho, I hope everybody has a good day, and hopefully tunes into the next one. Thank you.